It's all these blessings. We sing your praises and we thank you, Adonai our God. And we say, Amen. So when I was in rabbinical school, my classmates and I occasionally had discussions about God. Perhaps not actually as frequently as one might think, a bunch of rabbis in training, but once in a while we talked about it, got into it, often if the school made us. If the school said, here's your assignment, then we talked about God. And the nice thing about those different views, the talking about God, was that everyone had a different view. No one person was exactly alike in their understanding of God. You had some that were more traditional. I don't know if anyone quite believed in the old man in the sky with a beard, sort of the creation of Adam or creation of man. But we had some people like that. We definitely had people, God as creator, God as the one who sustains the earth, things like that. For some, I think God was indescribable. Some felt like God was in nature. That's how they connected. And there might have even been, I bet there was one guy especially who even said God is the Force, right? From something like that from Star Wars. And the cool thing about Judaism is that all of those views really are valid. And that's something that we find in this week's Torah portion. So as I said, we're in Parashat Yitro, which is the culmination in many ways of the Exodus story, because here the Israelites get to Mount Sinai, and there's thunder and lightning and shofar blasts, horn blasts, all of this excitement. And then God gives the 10 Commandments and the Torah and many laws. And it opens with the first commandment, Anochi Adonai Elohecha, I am the eternal your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Now, it's a perplexing statement because on the one hand, it's not really a commandment. It's not believe in one God. It's not, I am your God because of this and thus you should do blank. It's just, I am God. But we say that's the first commandment. So the question is, why does it start that way? And there's a midrash from the 11th to 14th centuries, that's when it was compiled, called Yalkut Shimoni. And they say this midrash says this about the first commandment. Why does it begin with the words, I am the eternal your God? Because the Holy One appeared to the Israelites at the Sea of Reeds as a mighty man waging war, at Sinai as a pedagogue teaching Torah, in the days of Solomon as a young man, and in the days of Daniel as an aged man full of mercy. The Holy One said, because you see me in many guises, do not imagine that there are many gods, for I am the one who is with you at the Sea of Reeds. I am the one who is with you at Sinai, and I am the same everywhere. I am the eternal your God. In other words, God appeared differently at different moments in time. For the Israelites, as they crossed the sea and they were battling, they were running from the Egyptians with their swords and chariots and all of that, they needed to see a God who was a warrior. Later, when they were at Sinai, they needed to see God as a teacher, the God who gives the law and teaches the law, and so on and so forth throughout history. But here, the Midrash is emphasizing that God is saying, just because you saw me differently in each of those places doesn't mean that I was different gods. It's just me. I'm the one God. And that's why we begin, I am the eternal your God. It's reestablishing that principle. Now, there's a rabbi I like to cite. Her name's Rabbi Amy Scheinerman. She lives, I think, somewhere up in Howard County or something like that. And she elaborates on this teaching in two ways. The first is that God's appearance fits the Israelites' needs in those moments, right? The Israelites have specific circumstances, specific needs, and so that's why God is appearing in those ways. And really, it's saying, well, you're different in those moments in time, you're different people, and so God is going to, of course, appear differently. And so too with all of us, right? For each of us, especially in different moments, we might feel that God is a judge. Some of us might say, okay, God is the judge of the world. Some of us see God as a king or a queen or as a parent-like figure. Maybe the Force, maybe part of nature. Maybe we see God in humanity, or we feel God when we study or pray, and on and on and on. And this is all right because it's all how we each uniquely understand God. Her second teaching, Rabbi Scheinerman's second teaching, is that we do not have a lock on God, meaning that none of us really quite have it right. None of us have it exactly right. And even if we think we might feel right in that moment, it might be different the next day. It might be different the next week, the next month, right? When we have some sort of big moment in our lives. Maybe it's the loss of a loved one. Maybe it's this scary brush with death. Maybe it's a moment of joy and ecstasy, whatever it is. Or maybe it's just, we grow and we change, but we come to understand differently. I now do not understand God the same way that I did 5 years ago when I was just becoming a rabbi, 5 years, 6 years before that when I was entering rabbinical school, right? We change and we grow. So my wish for us this evening, my prayer for us, is that we continue to strive to understand God through prayer, through study, through meditation, however we encounter God. May we continue to try to understand God. And as we do, may we know that no matter what understanding we come to, no matter what experience we encounter, that they are all valid ways of experiencing God in the world. Amen. We take a moment to reflect on these words.